Hey guys, welcome to Unit 8, Part 1, Never Stop Learning. So we're going to look at different things here regarding different ways to learn. So learning anywhere, anytime, for any reason. How appropriate. So we have some learning paths and some learning benefits. For example, different paths: go to college, online courses, traditional training classes, study on your own, set up a study group, attend a conference, watch film lectures. And learning benefits: you get a degree, meet people and expand your network, so on and so forth. I'm going to link two videos. Both of them are fairly short, about jobs and aspirations and what you kind of want to do. I really want you guys to watch them, please, so we can discuss them tomorrow. Okay. Which learning paths have you tried? How was your experience? Which learning benefit do you consider the most important and why? And are you planning to learn anything new this year? So I was mentioning, for example, which learning path have you tried? How was your experience? Obviously I went to university, and I also have, well, I used to be, I didn't renew it. I used to be a certified pharmacy technician. I used to work at a pharmacy. I used to work at a gas station, like a Pemex. It was called AMPM in the States. So I've tried a lot of jobs, tried a lot of paths. And honestly, the one requiring a little bit of education, a little bit of effort, always seemed to be the one that was most rewarding. So whether it was going to college and being able to work in a field regarding to my studies, or being a certified pharmacy technician, that always helped out too. So these, I want you guys to reflect on this and obviously see the videos that I posted. But moving on to perspectives. Let's take a look here. We have the Springfield Center for Continuing Education. New courses and 3 questions. So let's listen to the survey. Let me put the volume up, as always. I always forget. And let's see what the questions are and what would you rather do? What would you rather do? So let's take a listen here.
Unit 8. Never Stop Learning. Page 50. Exercise 2. Perspectives. A survey. Part A. Listen to a survey that a school is conducting about student preferences. Check the students' answers.
Okay, let's start. 1. Would you rather study on your own or join a study group? A. I'd rather study on my own. B. I'd rather join a study group. C. I'd rather do both.
I guess I'd rather join a group.
2. Would you rather take an art course or a professional course? A. I'd rather take an art course. B. I'd rather take a professional course. C. I'd rather not take either. I'd rather take a language course.
I'd rather not take either. I think I'd rather take a language course.
3. Would you prefer to take an online course or a traditional course? A. I'd prefer to take an online course. B. I'd prefer to take a traditional course. C. I'd prefer not to take either. I'd prefer to hire a private tutor.
Let's see. I'd prefer to take an online course.
Okay, so that was that. Also, I'm going to ask you guys what you would rather do or prefer to do. Okay, so go ahead and fill it out, not just to what they said, but what you would prefer to do. Some of you are already doing some of these exercises. You've sent me some emails, but let's take a quick look here at rather or prefer. It's actually very straightforward and very simple. Rather is always going to be followed by the base verb, and prefer is always going to be followed by the infinitive. So let me go ahead and make a notation here. Don't pay attention to my mouse. I'm all over the place. So let's make the notation right here. So rather plus the base verb. Doobie doobie doo. Right? Like rather, I rather go, I rather eat, I rather run 5 miles. So rather plus the base verb. Always, always, always. Now here they're using the modal would. Okay, so when you're asking a question, would you rather? Or what would you rather? When would you rather, right? So they're using the modal would, and obviously you put it in between would rather go. So it's always going to go your subject pronoun, would plus rather, and then your base verb. With prefer, it's going to be the infinitive. So using the same ones, I prefer to go, I prefer to eat, I prefer to run. Okay. And same thing here, they're using the modal would, and they're using the contraction. I'd prefer to go. So this is what it's going to look like. Always, always, always. Okay. And then obviously how you would answer. I'd rather not join. When it's a negation, I'd rather not. I'd prefer not to. Because remember, it's going to be followed by the infinitive, but here we just used it to. Rather not to. I mean, prefer not to. So sorry. I'd rather not. I'd prefer not to. Okay. Or I'd prefer not to take either or either. So careful with these. And here are the exercises. Let's actually go ahead and re-zoom. Let's see if we can have a, there we go. So complete the conversation with would and the appropriate form of the verbs in parentheses, then practice with a partner. So I'll go ahead and do this one. Obviously, it's a question. So we are starting with would, correct? Would you rather, and then we have take already in base form, technical course, or an art course. But notice that they're answering with prefer. So we're going to use the infinitive. Would you rather take? I would prefer to take. So just careful if they're using prefer or rather. If you're wondering what each one means, they're interchangeable. Rather and prefer, they mean the same thing, just that the structure changes depending on which one you're going to be using. So go ahead and fill this one out, and obviously we're going to go over it in class. I already gave you one. You just got 6 more to go. very, very, very straightforward. We're going to end it here with the listening, which we're going to blend with the speaking tomorrow. So the listening, again, about preferences. Listen to a conversation between a student and his guidance counselor. So remember, guidance counselor was one of the vocabulary words from one of the previous units. So here's the student talking to his guidance counselor and see what they suggest. And then we're going to answer this. If you could learn more about a job, what would it be? Why? Which options above would you use? And then learning something new. Think of a personal or professional skill you would like to learn or improve. So we'll talk about that as well. So we're going to blend these two tomorrow. But for now, let's go ahead and take a listen to this listening section.
Page 52. Exercise 5. Listening. Do what you love. Part A. Listen to a conversation between a student and his guidance counselor. Check the suggestions the guidance counselor gives.
Hello, Yvonne. How great to see you. How are your classes going?
Well, okay, Ms. Mooney, but I think I'd rather be studying psychology. I chose civil engineering as my major, but this psychology class that I took was amazing. I'd even stay after class to talk to the professor about the material. I never do that in my other classes.
That's great. But psychology is a big change from civil engineering.
Exactly. What if I change majors and regret it later? I'm getting good grades in my engineering classes, but I'm bored. Psychology was really interesting, but it wasn't as easy. Maybe I should just do what's easy.
Don't do what's easy. Do what you love. But you only took one psychology class, right? Perhaps you need to learn more about the field.
So you think I should take more classes?
Yes, you could. Have you ever heard of informational interviews? That's an option too.
What are they?
You find people with jobs in the fields you're interested in and sit down with them and ask them about their work. You know, the day-to-day stuff, what they like, what they don't like, how many years they had to study. It's like an interview, but just to learn about the job.
That sounds great. So I could talk with a civil engineer and a psychologist?
Sure, and you could even shadow some of these professionals.
Shadow them?
Job shadowing is when you follow someone around at their job and experience it from their perspective. Think of it like an internship, but you're only watching. You can shadow someone for a few hours or several times if you'd prefer. You know, before I became a guidance counselor, I was a banker.
You were a banker, Ms. Mooney?
Yes, for 10 years. But after doing some volunteer work with finance students, I realized I'd rather help people than crunch numbers. So I did informational interviews and job shadowing, and here I am. And I love being a guidance counselor. So, what do you say? Shall we find some professionals you can talk to?
Yes, please. I need all the information I can get.
Okay, so yeah, so it's different types of jobs. And like I said, I'm going to link a couple of videos regarding different ways to learn or different career paths or anything like that. So please answer everything, and I will see you guys in class.